1, 2, 3, I don't know who else to be. 4, 5, 6, like they say I can't be fixed.
Hi, I'm Jenny.
And I'm Jill.
And welcome to Fluffy Mother Fluffer, where we're taking life seriously, one laugh at a time.
We're kicking off a two-parter on friendships. On this episode, we're digging a bit deeper into the harder side of our pile of fluff. First, we'll talk 5 signs you're in a toxic friendship and how to make hitting the unfriend button a little bit easier. Then, we'll talk the end of friendships.
Or as I like to call it, when friendships die.
Finally, because we don't want you to walk away from this episode like we just stole your last cupcake, we'll send you off with an inspirational segment called the Music and Mantra Corner. Question for you. I just finished up Schitt's Creek. And I was thinking how much that makes me sad and I should need to watch a new show. But I was starting to think about our segment today and about friendships. And so this episode and then the next week too, we'll be talking friendships. Are there any TV or movie friendships that like you're jealous of? Like you're like, I wish I had that level of friendship.
I don't know if jealous, but like the ideal friendship for me is Lucy and Ethel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that show, man.
I do too.
I love Lucy. I love it.
Yep.
First of all, the time period and what they were doing in and of itself is amazing. But their friendship is like they have serious moments. They are just funny and weirdos together.
Yep.
I don't know. It's just perfect. Like their dynamic is amazing. I want that.
I just think of the episode where they're in the factory.
Yeah, eating chocolate. They're shoving them in their mouths.
Yep. I can totally.
They got each
feel
other's back. I don't know. There's just so much. I just love them.
Yep. For me, I thought of Lillian and Annie from Bridesmaids. Remember that movie?
I do.
I was thinking about that friendship, and it's the same as Lucy and Ethel. It's just fun and funny, and they have a great time together. I realized that's probably like shooting for the stars, and like my role in that friendship is more of like the Melissa McCarthy, where she's like driving her minivan with all her dogs, and she's like, I took 9. I hadn't overthought that. Didn't think that through. I'm going to put a little disclaimer before I start talking about the 5 signs of being in a toxic friendship.
My eyes are getting really big.
Okay, so I have to. So in the following segment, I am going to share a personal experience with you. I try to live my life outside of the drama and act in ways that create a balance of energy for everyone to feel good about themselves.
That's pretty fluffy.
But as I have been working on myself more and more and taking personality tests to be like, what is it that I'm missing? I keep coming up as the hero and the advocate. And I'm realizing that there's a bad part to always looking at stuff that way. So I was like doing these things. I'm like, oh shit, yes, I realized my fluffiness. I realized where my problem is. But I realized that for me, I'm not creating a true balance unless I give myself some energy back.
Right.
And the way to do that for me is to share my experience and let it be a learning lesson for others, but also because it helps me heal.
I agree that talking about bad things or bad situations is a healing thing. And I'll talk about that a little bit with mine too.
Good deal. So we're on the same page there. But that's really the point of this podcast anyway. We are kind of here to tell you about some of the stupid shit or the fluffiness that we have piled on ourselves. Maybe you're currently in a toxic friendship and it's just going to be something that you need to hear. You meet a friend, perhaps you're the outgoing type, and find them through chatting them up at the gym. Or you went the more low-key way and met them through a mutual friendship. Either way, this person shows interest in you and them, and suddenly your hangouts with mutual friends become your own duet to fun. Then something feels off, and there's a disconnect. When you come to your friend excited about a gift your partner gave you, they meet your excitement with, he could have spent more. When you bring your healthy lifestyle with you into your friendship, they let you know you're looking a little chubby. Or that your choices to make fitness a focus are something they would never do.
Dan.
That same person that once laughed and celebrated birthdays with you is not only making your light dim, they are taking the bulb and smashing the hell out of it. These all are signs of a toxic friendship. According to researchers Diegus White and Van Thegem, the word toxic implies behaviors that poison or fracture a relationship. Psychologist Andrea Boyner adds to this that a toxic friendship emotionally harms you rather than helps you. The friendship causes you stress and anxiety and does not help you be who you want to be.
Agree.
Mm-hmm. So if you're stressed with the thought of that double date coming up, maybe you're feeling anxious about the comments you know will be made about your clothes, your weight, marital status, or life choices, you may indeed be in a toxic friendship, or you just need to stop hanging out with your mom and dad. Whichever happens to apply. But all kidding aside, if you're listening to the above scenarios that I just said, and they remind you of someone in your life, you aren't alone. 80% of adults are thought to have had or be in a toxic friendship. And your percentage might just be higher if you are, can I get a drum roll? A people pleaser.
Well, I was just going to say, why in the hell would you put up with that?
People pleaser. Hi, I'm Jill.
Yeah, wow.
I am a fluffy
Girl.
people pleaser. I would talk about how I am learning, though.
Right.
If you worked on anything with me, I always say I put my heart and soul into everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I need people to like me, which is one common practice of the people pleaser. I just choose that the people that I'm close to, I want the best for them.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like the only way to do that is for me to give my best.
So like you thought if you were just a better friend, it would rub off on them?
Yeah.
Ah.
So, but unfortunately, what I've found, there's those people that see that you're fully invested, right? And they use it to their own advantage.
Oh, yeah.
There are unfortunately those that we will meet in life who suffer from shitty personitis, which when I get my PhD, I am going to add that to the DSM.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be shitty personitis is going to be a diagnosis because I have met many a person who could be diagnosed with shitty personitis. All right. So now I'm going to share my friendship experience. I entered a friendship that I had hesitations with, like major getting ready to hang out and just being super angry hesitations. My husband would be like, why are you in such a bad mood? We're going to go have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, I did not want to go. I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
So it was little things at first, like seeing her and her husband texting each other across the dinner table when we were out with friends and then laughing with each other.
Oh.
And then it was them making fun of people and expecting me to partake in it, which is not at all my jam.
Yeah.
I can take a joke and I can be part of a joke, but I do not fit in with the crowd who makes someone a joke.
Yeah. Or just being mean just to be mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those were a couple of the first indications of this is not right for me.
Okay.
And then the next one was when she came over to my house, first time ever, and went through all of my kitchen drawers.
Like she just walked in
and went through all my drawers. Well, first I think there was a comment about how clean my house is, which I do keep a clean home. It's one of my ways to handle control anxiety, to control my environment, and I am working on that. Mm-hmm. But also because I was inviting over people that I wasn't so sure about. Mm-hmm. So I needed to put on this fluffy presence of I've got my shit together. I feel very secure inviting you over. And to me, going through all my drawers was one, invasive.
Yeah.
And then to say, just looking, as the response to me going, why the hell are you going through my drawers? I felt like it was creating a dominant relationship where I was being told who was the top dog and where I was going to fall in the wolf pack. That's how I felt with that behavior. Yeah. So it was all of those things. And then it was just this message that my gut was sending me and my head, because I literally told my husband, I don't feel right about it. Everything was telling me to avoid. Mm-hmm. But I'm a people pleaser, right? I told myself I was being a judgy bitch and that I should give it a chance because we had mutual friends. There was going to be points we were hanging out. So I needed to get over myself and be like, okay, everyone's different than you. Don't take this stuff personally. Just get over it. So I tried that. And I told myself, what is the worst that could happen? Long story short, let's just say that that friendship ended due to, shocker, many instances of dishonesty and manipulative behavior. And I wasn't surprised to find out that in the beginning, she truly only approved my friendship when she had found out that I was actually a fat kid.
Ouch.
Yeah. So it wasn't until she found out my insecurities that she felt like we could be friends. And that was very telling of the way that I was treated in our friendship. It was very telling of the many instances where my light was maybe shining just a little too bright. I was getting just a little too much attention, or I was getting just a little too much self-confidence. And that would be when I was reminded that I was hippie, or bigger on the bottom, or those sweatpants that were supposed to be really big weren't too big on me.
Oh, so not hippie in like the personality
No, not in the cool way.
Hippie like
as in my hips are big.
Okay, you're no.
I know I'm built more pear-shaped, but
No,
God damn
no,
it.
you're not.
You know what? That's fucking popular right now. And my husband likes my ass, and that's all that matters.
Well,
I like my butt, and I cannot lie.
I think you are more of like an athletic build, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can run a marathon, and that's just the way I'm built. But anyway, I wasn't surprised in the end to find out that my friendship was only approved because she knew my weaknesses. And then they were played into. I can blame myself for some of this because I purposely ignored all the warning signs. I was very unwilling to create a healthy boundary because to create that healthy boundary, I would have had to admit to myself that all this shit was just fucked up. Like, this relationship is so messed up. And that boundary creation would have ended the relationship.
yeah.
If I would have created that boundary, that would have been it. And actually, that's what ended up happening in the end, is that boundary was created. I was no longer going to allow this manipulation to occur that I knew was happening all along. I just ignored it. And once I created that boundary, that was it.
So once you put your foot down and said
Once-
this is no longer okay,
Exactly.
then it was a problem.
Then it was over.
on the other end.
It was 100% over. In fact, the day that I said, I am not going along with this anymore, I was told, have a great life, and basically cut out of everything. But I did stop it. I can say that, yes, my fluffy exterior is to be a people pleaser, but deep down, I know what's right and what's wrong. I know my personal values. I know my moral values. I know what I'm worth as a friend. And when it's not being reciprocated, it's time to pull the plug.
Actually, you sent me a really good little meme. What did that say?
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that kind of encompassed the thought process or ideas here. If you leave a toxic relationship and
If you're afraid to leave a toxic relationship because you're afraid of the retaliation.
Yeah,
So what I sent her was, when a toxic person can no longer control you, they will try to control how others see you. The misinformation will feel unfair, but stay above it, trusting that other people will eventually see the truth just like you do. We also come from a very autonomous society where like we need to be pushing ourselves forward. What can I be? I want to be this. I want to be that. So it's really easy to get self-focused and be like, well, that's a lie, and I'm going to say something about it. And there have been many times that I've wanted to do that I've wanted to step in and be like, that's not true. But that's not going to solve the situation.
no.
All it's going to do is make me look like I'm battling to defend myself, and I have nothing to defend.
Yeah.
That's the great thing. I can leave this situation knowing that I did the best I could.
Right.
And that's all I can do.
Yeah. Yep.
But I think there is a step that we can offer you guys beyond just going through this like I did. I think that you can avoid these situations. So I just want to give you 5 of the signs you're in a toxic friendship, aka bail the fuck out behaviors that you can watch for. One would be that they're resentful. If you've ever made a mistake or done something a friend didn't like and they continue to bring it up or even go to the extreme of getting back at you for it, that's a good indication that friendship is not on mutual playing field.
Getting back at you for it?
Correct.
That's fucked
So
up.
retaliation on top of resentment.
Okay. Yeah. That's another thing where communication and honesty. Let's talk about it and get over it.
Right. The second one is that they're jealous. So if you've ever had a great day at work or you got a promotion, can't wait to tell your friend about it, and they meet your excitement with criticism, one-upping, or put-downs, those are telltale signs of jealousy.
I tend to relate.
Yeah.
And by me relating is usually telling you a story that happened to me to like be like, hey, I know exactly, how that feels.
Right. That's sympathy. That's not
Yeah.
jealousy. Unless you're like,
But it could be perceived, I suppose.
I think that's all about intent. So jealousy and sympathy or empathizing with someone, I can see where those lines get kind of blurry.
Yeah.
But it's your intent. It's the intent behind it.
Right.
If someone comes at you and I'm like, hey, Jenny, guess what? I just got this great job. And you came at me, you're like, oh my God, I remember how it felt when I got my job. I was so excited. Like, I'd be like, oh, well, could you ask me about my job first?
Right.
But that doesn't sound like jealousy to me. That sounds like you trying to relate to
Yeah.
how I'm feeling in the moment.
a one-upper would be like, oh, that's awesome, but guess what I did?
Yes.
Okay.
Or, well, it's just a job you're going to lose anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. All right. Got it.
so you should get out of a jealous, toxic friendship as soon as you see they're dyeing their hair the same color as yours, or friend requesting all your personal friends and single white femaling your ass. Which, do you know that movie?
I do know that movie.
Such a good movie. I know I'm dating myself, but God, that's a good movie. It sums this up so well. The third one would be you have to be careful around them. This follows suit with both resentment and jealousy. Example, your partner does something nice for you, but you can't tell that one friend because you know that they'll lessen your joy or they'll take it personally that you are excited about it. If you can't tell your friend something that you're excited about because it'll create jealousy or resentment, then that's not a friendship. It's a catering service to fit their insecurities. And you're serving up your own dignity and self-worth on a silver platter. Don't do that. Don't dim your light. A friend will never feel bad because you feel good.
Right.
This is the one I most relate to.
Okay.
So the fourth sign of a toxic friendship is 2 words. Energy vampire. That one's huge for me. I mentioned when I commit to something, I put my heart and soul into it. My energy level is always sky high when I'm creative.
Yeah.
And I just assume everyone else is too.
Right.
But you're providing much of the energy to keep the friendship going as the toxic character is draining it and not replenishing it. That's a bad sign.
Right.
I read a book recently. It was called Exhausted. It's by Pelosi and Shonyai. So it's 2 doctors who focus on essentially where we get our energy from and when we feel exhausted, where it's going.
Okay.
So the last chapter was all about energy exchange in the spiritual sense.
Okay.
So they talk about energy in toxic relationships as a reason for exhaustion. So there's 2 different ways we get our energy. Some of us get it simply through a vertical way. So we essentially connect to the universe, like meditators and Zen masters. So they get it vertically, straight from the universe. Most of us do it horizontally, meaning that we get it from plants and animals, which is why the foods you eat can be good for your body or bad for your body, depending. So that would be a source of energy, the food we eat. Another source of energy is the people around us.
Right.
So if you are not in a great emotional or psychological state, and then you enter into a toxic or abusive relationship, this can lead to exhaustion. So what can you do? You can just stop the energy sucking cycle, kick their toxic pennywise ass to the curb. Place it with someone who provides as much give as they do take.
Yeah. Or like I can relate to that in the sense that I can take on other people's emotions. So if I enter a room and there's just a lot of negative energy or somebody's just in a bad mood, I can feel it. It affects me. Like I get in a bad mood or I get agitated and then my anxiety starts peaking and
Yeah. You take on the negative energy. Gotta leave that room.
It's the
Detox.
same, but it's the same sense if I enter a room where like everybody's happy, and so I could see that.
Yeah. And finally, they stress you the hell out. So if you're consistently having headaches the mornings after girls' nights out, and they're not related to your 3 old fashions or that one really bad decision to do Jaeger bomb at bar close, I know you've all been there. Your body might be telling you that it's in a state of stress. So if you ask any medical expert, your body reacts subconsciously to stress in crazy ways. If you have no idea why your back suddenly hurts or your arthritic hand is acting up, psychologically your body does know why that's happening, and they have a name. Stress can come from unhealthy relationships, but I have really good news, which finally, right? Because this has been like Debbie Downer segment 101. Medical research has found that a great friendship can actually help you boost your immune system. Where does yours sit? If you see a text message coming in from a friend and it makes your body tense up, you already know. You already know, so just pay attention to the signs.
Yeah.
So as with everything in life, there's something to be learned. I learned a lot from this toxic friendship. And in fact, it's made me a better person because of it. It sucked going through it. It sucks reliving it. But I know that I have learned so much about myself professionally and personally and for my own self-worth from doing it.
So the whole, if you find yourself having headaches when you're supposed to be around this person or you are around this person, I mean.
Are you having a headache?
No. I mean, what about like the husband-wife relationship? Oh, not tonight, honey. I have a headache.
I don't know.
Is that the same
You
thing?
might have to revisit that one. If you need to hear it, here it is. You deserve to have friends who share the Legos of life so that your tower can be just as great as theirs. Friends who give you new batteries to shine brighter than those half-assed generic ones that die in a day. Friends who cheer you on when you're the one who gets to come on down on The Price is Right, rather than sitting back hoping you overbid on the showcase showdown. Accept nothing less, give nothing less, and know you are worth more than a toxic friendship gives. If someone is important to you and you to them, shared good energy and a balanced friendship will come from having that tough conversation.
Right. And I think it's important to remember, like, yes, you can have those conversations, but it's also
Absolutely.
okay not to. Like, it's okay if you're just like, this is not working. You should feel no obligation to stay friends with somebody, because there are so many other people out there.
There's plenty of good fish in the sea.
Yes, I was going to say it, but
And if not, then just remember the unfriend button of life is just a click away.
next segment is,
Are you bringing us back up or are we staying down?
I like to call it when friendships die. It's funny, but it's not. So, I mean,
But we know we need to do it, right?
right. Friendships are great. They're essentially the family or the people we choose. There are people who think of you, check in on you. I know you brought up that friendships can boost your immune system.
Oh, absolutely.
They
Good for you.
also can help us live up to 7 years longer.
That'll make up for being left-handed.
What?
I'm pretty sure I die 7 years earlier because I'm left-handed.
Oh, you better get on that friendship train. Sometimes you have different groups of friends and they serve different purposes. Either way, healthy friendships should allow us to be authentic, comfortable, and feel loved. If you think about it, many friendships last longer than romantic relationships.
Hell yeah, they do. I have
So-
big plans for when I'm 92 and if my husband's not around anymore.
Right?
Big plans. Golden Girls.
There you go. So the combined connection and investment in companionship is bound to make it difficult to cope if the bond comes to an end. At times, the cause may be blatantly clear, sometimes mutually agreed upon and beneficial. However, sometimes it can seem sudden, unsettling, or unwarranted. And when this happens, you may find yourself baffled and hurt. This pain could inhibit you from letting go. I've always said that quality over quantity is the best route to go when it comes to friendships, but everyone's a little different and everyone varies on who and how much they let into their circle of inner weirdness. But sometimes we outgrow friendships for many reasons. Life changes, marriages, kids, interests. But how do you handle it when a friendship has run its course? So a common cause of dwindling friendship is the simple lack of balance. These friends just no longer check those boxes for you anymore, right? And they don't make you feel comfortable, or they don't support our best selves, or they just don't have your best interests at heart. So I'm going to give you a personal experience of mine. My husband and I were trying to start a family, and in the process, we had a couple of miscarriages, with the last one being very traumatic. My friend had also had experiences with a couple of her own, maybe 6 months earlier. I was always her sounding board and shoulder when she needed to talk about it or grieve. However, when my last miscarriage happened, she took that as an opportunity to bring up her old wounds and wanted to cry and grieve together. Listen, we all handle things differently, and one way is not necessarily more or less right than the other, but this was within a week of my latest, and I was falling fast and hard into a deep hole. I had a not quite 2-year-old at home that I needed to keep it together for. I eventually told her, I know that I've always been your shoulder, but right now I just can't. I'm not in the right state of mind or place in my life. I have to take care of myself. I just can't do this. She became very angry, mean, and hurtful, and eventually wrote me a very frustrating text about how I hurt her. It became obvious that she did not have my best interests at heart and was only looking out for herself, but I still had a hard time pulling the trigger and ending the friendship for good. So the night I ended up essentially delivering my baby and saying goodbye, she wrote yet again another hurtful text. That was it. I don't know if it was the timing of the matter that when it happened, that was the nail in the coffin. I ended up writing her and I just told her why I was ending our friendship. And I let her know that I wished her the best, but I was parting ways. And then I blocked her in every sense I could, text, phone, social media, because I needed to get on with my life. And I knew that she probably wasn't going to let me do that unless I did. And so I blocked her. And I mourned the loss of my baby and a friendship for a while. So dealing with both of those things was really hard.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like you set up a healthy boundary and that boundary was crossed.
Yeah.
No matter what you said, it was crossed. So,
right. But it was the right decision. And it was something that probably should have been done a while back. And I just couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
When friendships die, it's hard. I mean, even when you know it's the right thing, I think it's important to get closure for both parties so you can move on. Normally, I would say avoid breaking up in a text and try for some form of face-to-face or phone chat.
Yeah.
Unless they start to become, abusive or nasty, then by all means end it immediately. And that's kind of where I felt I was at.
Right.
As far as social media goes, that gets hard too. So do whatever you need to do for your mental health. Unfriend, unfollow, block if that's what needs to be done. If you know that it's better for you mentally to be completely uninvolved, then that's what you need to do.
Well, and if someone chooses to be resentful because you ended the friendship, there's no reason to sit and let yourself be exposed to that resentment. There just isn't. If you've done nothing on your end in a resentful nature, if you've done everything you could to create a copacetic ending to this friendship, there's absolutely no reason to sit and expose yourself to that. And you shouldn't feel bad about that. I know blocking sounds like, to me, sometimes I feel like, oh, well, that's childish. It's really not. You're just creating a boundary, and and in the world today, in our society today, you have to do that in a social media realm as well. It's like a separate level of friendship.
Yeah. Honestly, I believe that people come into our lives for a reason. I'm someone who gives a lot in my relationships, so I don't have a lot of super close friends because it's just too draining for me. But if a relationship isn't mutually beneficial for you anymore and it ends, just know that you are only making room for a new relationship or friendship to come in.
That's a really good point.
Hopefully it's a healthier one. And for me, it's been true. The story I just told you, when my friendship ended with her, it wasn't long after that there was a new friend that piqued my interest and we developed a bond. And even with this podcast, I've met so many people that I consider friends. There's just different levels of friendships. Right. And because I put so much into my friendships, I can only commit so much at that level.
Samesies. Yeah.
Lots of you wrote in asking about old friends from high school or college or childhood, friends that you still love dearly, but just don't have the time for anymore, or maybe not really anything in common.
Yeah. Outgrow that relationship.
How do you let go of someone you still care about? I mean, I think it's common to slowly drift apart, right?
Absolutely.
It's going to happen, especially if you've been friends for years and years and years. Life happens. People get busy, grow, and, things just aren't the same anymore. And that is completely okay. Like, I don't think that anybody should feel bad about that.
No, not at all.
I have some girlfriends who I love with all of my heart, and I've known them for a long time. We've been friends for years and years and years, and we have been through some stuff.
Jam? Is this jam?
Yeah.
Jam? Yeah. Jilly, don't shake like that.
Right.
I need to remind you all because it's amazing.
I mean, the bond I have with them is never going to disappear. Honestly, we just don't talk much.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for social media. I'm able to see pictures and updates and still root from them from afar. And I think that they do for me as well. So it's kind of interesting when you think about the different levels of friendships and where these people fit in your life. Acquaintances, friends, good friends, best friends. So we'll talk
soulmate.
So we'll talk more about that in the next episode.
This is going to sound super morbid, but sometimes I think about friendship levels on the funeral level.
Dang.
Okay, I know, but I mean this in as a good analogy. Like, is the friendship at a level where if I died, they'd send my family a card, they'd send flowers, they'd attend the funeral, or if they'd fully mourn me.
Damn.
I know.
I mean, that's a good.
So fucked up, but it's true. And I guess I could spend it a better way, a wedding, but I've already been married, so for me, it's just funeral.
Well, no, I don't.
Wedding. Like,
I don't
who would
think they're
attend?
the same. I
Who
don't
would
think they're the
attend?
same because people will attend a wedding, especially if it's close by, just because it's free booze.
Well,
and
funerals
free
are like,
food,
yeah,
and
that's a
it's
good
party.
point. Because funerals are like really intimate, emotional event in your life.
Right.
So who would come?
Right.
Who would be there? Who would truly care if I left this world?
And that's a good point if you're unsure of like where a friend might be categorized.
Just put him in the funeral list. I don't know where that came from, but it's true.
This is things you think about, though.
No, it was just because of a song that played today during my run. I thought, oh, who would come and party at my funeral? So that's why it popped in my head. Don't worry, guys. It's not something I sit and think about every day.
Sometimes just knowing that you have people that love you and are rooting for you is enough.
Yep.
And I think that we're all okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
A like or a comment on a post to show that you're supporting them from afar actually probably goes a lot further than you think.
Oh, absolutely.
If you feel like the drift in the relationships needs to be addressed, I feel like something along the lines of, hey, I know we don't talk much anymore because of, well, life, but I just want you to know that I try to keep up with you on social media and know that I'm always rooting from you from afar. After all, we can never have too many people who did that for us. So
I love it.
Hope that answers your guys' question.
I love that. Yes, because you can sit and assume. And if you are a positive Pam in life and you're like, I know everybody's got me. I got this.
Mm-hmm.
I commend you. I don't always have that outlook. Sometimes I just need a little reminder.
Right.
Like, hey, you're here for me. And
Yeah.
I love it when I do get those.
I do too.
I feel like the universe sends them when I need them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I send them to myself.
What's the special segment?
Today's special segment is extra special. Because we brought you guys down for this whole episode. We're going to bring you back up. We're going to leave on a high. We are going to do the first ever music and mantra corner, where essentially I'll play you a little bit of beautiful therapeutic harp music and give you some mantras to live by.
Ooh.
You ready?
Sounds a little corny.
It's super corny,
Okay.
but also really fun and gave me the opportunity to find out some really creepy ass facts about people.
Ooh.
Here it comes. Don't compare your friendships with others. Compare your friendships with otters. Them bitches hold hands while floating, so they all stay afloat.
That is the cutest thing. I've seen pictures.
It's a true story. Yeah. Never give up on your dreams. Rather, just wait for the right opportunity. Given enough time, Jason Momoa will be in a wheelchair wearing a bib too.
That's my chance.
Captain Hot Pants says that muscular people don't age well. But I think I'm ready to take the Pepsi challenge on that. If you stumble in life, just make it part of the dance. And if you always dance flailing your arms like a psycho, no one will ever even notice you tripped. I'm giving you a visual. See? No one will even know. They're like the wacky inflatable.
Oh yeah, that's like this.
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. There, I said it. Trust your instincts. Not many of us know that goosebumps exist as a way to ward off predators, and it shows. This is true. Yes, if you get goosebumps, that means that something around you is freaking you the hell out.
I feel like I get goosebumps when like the truth is spoken too.
Like, must scare the shit out of you.
No, seriously.
I know, I get you. When it comes to friendships, don't be a rose. There's plenty of room for both of you on the door, so neither of you has to freeze to death. We all saw it, and no one talks about it. There's no fucking way that Jack couldn't have got up on that door with Rose in Titanic.
Oh,
why did he die?
That type of rose.
Why did he have to die?
I was thinking a literal flower.
No.
See, you need to be blunt.
I clarified.
Yes.
If you're feeling overwhelmed, just lower others' expectations of you. No. Wait, it's not the punchline. I'm not done.
Okay.
Nobody's going to ask you for fashion or legal advice if you walk around with your underwear on the outside of your pants. I wrote these, by the way. I can be hired if you need some inspiration. Maybe I should write.
Hold on. I laughed at one. Let's not get ahead of
write some
ourselves.
Hallmark greeting cards. When you feel a bit down, know that you always glow. There's actually no punchline here. Just humans actually do glow. Did you know that?
No, they do not.
We all admit a little bit of visible light.
Okay.
We do.
Yes.
A little
Are you
bit.
talking about like our aura?
No, well, sure, that can be called your aura, but we literally glow. It's not on the visible spectrum of light. Like, you can't see it. You
Yeah.
need like a special camera.
Well,
But we do put off light. Because
so is
we're
there
energy.
something to this, like pregnant women glow? Because
Maybe glow brighter.
that would make sense, especially if you have another little person inside of you creating energy.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to throw it out here. I was a hot mess as a pregnant woman. I was not glowing. I was sweaty. I was not glowing.
But that's glistening. I looked like the Michelin Man when I was pregnant with my son. Don't box yourself in. Be contradictory if it fits you. After all, cotton candy was invented by a dentist.
Oh.
Scandal of the century. Live your life with such passion that long after you're gone, your imprint remains. Like the inventor of the Frisbee, who himself was turned into a Frisbee after he died.
Shut up.
No, he was. Dewey Ed Hedrick invented the Frisbee, and when he died, he had his kids make him into a Frisbee so that they could play Frisbee with him.
Oh, that's weird.
Yup. All right, here's the last one. You ready?
Yeah.
Finally, know that the loudest critics are like roosters. While they scream their insults to the world, they often ignore their own advice.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm saying roosters actually have built-in earplugs. Those little dawn-rising shitheads.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't hear themselves crowing.
Fuckers.
That's just for you to suffer from. Thank you for coming to Music and Mantra Corner. Have a great day. What's your fluffy takeaway for the day?
My fluffy takeaway today, I think, is to trust your gut instinct and know that you deserve quality friends.
Hell yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yes. My fluffy takeaway would be that it is okay to leave a friendship if it feels 10 shades of fucked up.
10 shades of gray.
Ooh, that's 50.
You let it get to
I'll take
50
more layers
shades.
of Christian. You let it get to 50. It's gone too far.
Yeah.
You're going to find yourself in a red room.
That's all for this episode of Fluffy Mother Fluffer. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also find all of our episodes and a blog that will take our podcast episode topics even further by visiting our website at fluffymotherfluffer.com. Also, if you guys are loving the podcast, go ahead and give us a rating or review, or go on our Facebook page and do it as well.
Hell yeah. Facebook. Rate us. Sure, this is even better. You know what? Do them both. We'll accept it all.
Bye.
See you later. Thank you for joining us on Fluffy Mother Fluffer. Hopefully this episode lifted a little bit of fluff off that pile called life. And if not, well, join us again next time, you fluffy mother fluffer, you.
1, 2, 3, your attention's all I need. 4, 5, 6, don't let it slip. 1, 2,
Captain Hot Pants came in the room this morning and he was leaving for work. And he says to me something along the lines of, "Work too, I must go." I'm like, oh, he's been watching The Mandalorian, and I've been watching Schitt's Creek. So he was trying to pull Yoda on me. So I busted out the David, and I'm like, all snotty. Like, we aren't doing that. But when I found out that Princess Leia was Luke's sister, you know how I found out? Oh my God, it's so nerdy. I found out from 53 down on a crossword puzzle.
Yeah, I remember that because you're like, dude. And we're like,
I was today's years old.
me and Jesse are like,
Today's years old.
yeah, everybody knows that.
I didn't. Thank you, Monday crossword puzzle, for that incestual crossword.
It's fucked up. You know, oh, I do like Harry Potter. Surprise. And someone sent me a clip of how Star Wars and Harry Potter's, like, their stories align. Mm-hmm. And it is kind of mind-blowing. So in that sense, I still prefer Harry Potter.
I'll have to not look that up.
All right. Bye.